What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Mike Robinson, and this is another episode of Let's Take a Walk. I hope everybody had a blessed week and are having a blessed weekend. I know that I am. Tonight, man, we got another awesome guest for you. It's that time of the year. It's election time. People trying to get their exposure up, trying to get their votes in and all of that. So this is an extra treat for me because this is somebody who comes from the same place that I come from. And so she's kind of like family. And so it's always a treat to have family on this platform because they're familiar with some of the same things that I'm familiar with. So tonight, we welcome Miss Latoya Robinson. She is a Putnam County Commissioner candidate for District 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And she is a lifelong resident of Palatka / Putnam County, Florida. She's a classmate of mine, also a friend, and like I said, like a sister. And we're gonna sit down with her and, just chop it up about, her whole process and how everything's been going for her in her whole campaigning process. And I'm very interested to know, how it all works. So I'm excited. For those of you who may not be familiar with Miss Latoya and her movement, I'm going to give her a couple of seconds to kind of reintroduce herself and give a little background to everything that she has going on and is trying to accomplish. So with that being said, Miss Latoya, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate the opportunity to present my candidacy as well as my platform on your platform. I am a fourth generation native of Palatka. Graduated, raised my family right here in Putnam County, raised with Christian morals and values. My husband, who's also a Palatka native, is a sergeant with the Palatka Police Department and a retired warden with Department of Corrections. I worked 17 years in child welfare, and I am currently a licensed registered mental health counselor intern, currently working as the residential counselor at CDS Family and Behavioral Services here in Palatka. There are a lot of factors that actually led to my decision in becoming a candidate for county commissioner. Once I understood the baseline of what the commissioners do as far as the county operations, that's when I realized that that's the spot that I wanted to be in, because I always questioned, how resources come and go from our county. Working in child welfare, being familiar with, different needs of the families here in our community, I felt like that was the perfect place to be so that I could provide input for our county's growth. So, with that being said, I started in child welfare, like I said, but a friend told me that charity starts at home, and that kind of like settled in my spirit. And at one point I thought it was child welfare. And then when this opportunity became available, I figured that, okay, now it's time to elevate my advocacy from working with families and elevate it to working for the county. And so that's when I decided to file after much meditation and prayer. I went ahead to the supervisor of elections office and filed for candidacy for county commissioner.
Wow, you actually answered a few of the questions that I was going to ask.
Okay.
To start off, which is a good thing. So you said you felt a need at a certain point. You kind of felt a need, or a void that you felt like that you could fill within the community. Working in child advocacy, how do you feel like that's helped you in this process, if at all?
Actually, it definitely has helped me in this aspect, because being able to increase or enhance my communication skills with patience, critical thinking, being able to deal with high escalated situations, because in child welfare we could come across anything. So I've dealt with any and everything in child welfare. The disgruntled parent, the disgruntled caregivers who feel like they just can't get the help that they need to help this child. The resources, me even being frustrated with the lack of resources, as well as just like I said before, being familiar with what's needed to help strengthen families. Also, being able to be solution focused rather than incident focused. So, that comes with my skill set. Just a host of stuff, the experience with child welfare, giving me the opportunity to work with different agencies in the community, learning how to collaborate and come up with a plan to help families. So
tell me this. You brought up an interesting point when you were speaking, and it made me think of a question. How hard has it been for you to be a candidate and not a citizen? And what I mean by that is, as a citizen, we get to see, we are in it. So we see issues and problems right in front of our face. And we talk to our friends about it. We talk to our family about it, about certain things that need to be changed or need to be fixed or need to be adjusted. Now you're in on the other side of the coin. You're one of the people that actually has the authority to affect actual change to the issues that you see as a constituent. So how hard of a transition has it been for you to go from being a citizen to a candidate, or have you?
Actually, I haven't, because I want people to actually see me as a citizen. I'm baseline, just like you work 9 to 5, over 40 hours a week. Being able to adjust and refocus hasn't really been a big issue, because I want to be able to hear and address those same concerns as a person in a position to do that. With me being able to hear them, relate to them as a citizen, I would be able to transition in that position and advocate as a citizen. Being able to have that platform and use that as a platform as a citizen.
Now, on the flip side of that, is it possible to be too familiar with your community going forth? Because sometimes people have a tendency, they'll see Latoya, they don't see you as Latoya Robinson, the county commissioner candidate. They see you as Latoya Robinson Toya. They see you as Toya. You know what I'm saying? And they kind of they have certain expectations because they're familiar with you on varying levels. Is it possible to be too familiar with your community, or is there a certain distance that you kind of have to keep, a professional distance, or what's that? Well, how is that for you?
I think it's to my advantage, because they can see me as my authentic self. They I'm me. I'm me in this aspect. I'm pretty much consistent in every aspect of my life, from someone calling me Toya to someone calling me Latoya, because we have that professional name, and then we have that, friendship, associate, family name. So, I'm pretty much consistent throughout. So is it too much? No, I think it can be, but I think it goes to my advantage. There are people who, it's like, well, you're quiet, or you're this, or you're that. I'm like, yeah, but you haven't seen me in the many aspects that I know that I'm capable of being in. So, people know me on a professional level and all ends of the spectrum, but it's a good thing, because they can see me in one way and still see me as being the same person, but a different position.
Right. Right. Wow. And I mean, I found it that when, and you, just from knowing of you, knowing, being around you and knowing you are kind of a quiet person, um, inherently, you're quiet. But I found that quiet people are the most observant people, and they see a lot of things that most people don't see because they're not, because they're quiet and they just see and they just do. So I feel like you use that to your advantage.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
and my husband, probably after dating me and knowing me for some time, probably wouldn't even think that I'm a quiet person at this point. But it definitely would take, a person to, or for me to spend time with a person, and to, grow. And then, you have different stages to your personality, or to how much you want to expose, depending on the situation. So for the most part, I am, approachable, laid back, genuine, and me.
That's what's up. Okay. So tell me this. Has your opinion or has your viewpoint changed on politics now that you are in politics? Because as citizens, we see politicians in a certain light, and that's not always good. You know what I'm saying? And so now that you have kind of put on a new hat, how has your opinion changed? Has it changed? Of politics and politicians and how they go about doing things.
I try not to think of myself as a politician, because I don't consider myself a politician. I
Okay.
consider myself an advocate.
Okay.
And like I said, advocating for Putnam County's best interest. What's better for the community, the citizens, for them to strengthen their families, for them to thrive. So I try not to look at it from a political standpoint, but I am familiar with advocating for people. And that's what I want to do, and continue to look in it in that aspect. Now, if I was to grow and go on the state level, then that might be a different thing. And, so I tell people, on the local level, it's not about your political affiliation or anything like that. It's about, the resources that we have in our county to help us grow as an individual, to help strengthen our families.
Okay. Let's back up a little bit. For those of us out there that may not be familiar, what what is the main job of a county commissioner? What does a county commissioner do?
It's pretty much the operations of the county, being able to govern how the county works, the different um, agencies under the county, public zoning, public works and zoning, all of those, animal control. And I'm still learning, by the way, but from, what I understand is the operations of the county, what resources come, being in a position to go to the legislator and advocate for resources for Putnam County, being able to have operational procedures for the county employees, what's better for the county employees, and what I want as well. And I don't even know if it's a thing, but I want it to be a thing, to collaborate with the school board, because the school board is under the county, but they're governed, of course, the Department of Education. But being that they are here in the county, I want to be able to establish a relationship to where we are also involved in what goes on in our school system, because they are still the individuals here in the county. And I still feel like there are programs that they can have in the school system that the county can help support. So that's how I look at the commission. It's pretty much, the
Okay.
operation of the county.
Okay. So, what would you feel personally is the first issue that, like, if you had to choose a single issue, what's the most pressing issue for the county that you serve, and what would you attack first?
There are so many, and when people actually ask me that, it's hard to, find just one. And
Mhm.
then when I find myself having many, I come back to me having more collaboration and citizen involvement.
Mhm.
Because even if I have a laundry list of things that I want to change, I'm just one vote on the commission. And it takes a majority vote of the 5 people on the commission to make things happen in Putnam County. So with collaboration and citizen involvement, I won't need a majority vote. I can do that on my own.
Okay.
I can go out and establish relationships with the department heads to have effective communication with them to let them know that you have a commissioner that's behind you. I can go to the citizens and encourage them to be more involved, to have more engagement, so that they can feel that the decisions that are made in Putnam County is citizen guided. So the decisions that goes on, or the resources that goes on here in Putnam County, it needs a majority vote. But when I think about what I want to do, it starts with collaboration and citizen involvement.
Wow. To your point, the community involvement, citizens involvement. Um, do you have a plan in place to help to increase community involvement, or are you comfortable with the things that are set in place for that?
No, I am not comfortable with the things that are in place. I do feel that the citizens lack trust
Okay.
in county government, and I think that's why they're not as involved as they should be. But and so I want to give them, a person with integrity, a person who will follow up, who is interested in knowing what you do. And like I said, even if I was to take it to the board, at least it's on record, and it's a pathway of showing that I brought it up, but you have these certain commissioners who did not. So therefore, when it comes time for reelection, you need to make your decision based on that. So
Right.
definitely create the platform for the citizens, encourage them, and encouraging them by letting them know that someone is interested. I do hear you. You can trust that I will bring this up and advocate for you, and hopefully encourage the other commissioners to see it from my perspective. And not only that, to allow this open discussion during the meetings. Ask the why questions, ask the what questions, bring out what is needed as far as making the decision, so that the citizens can understand why it's hard to make this decision, or why you're not going to make this decision, or what it takes to make this decision. So I will be that person asking those questions, so that we can have the open dialogue, so the community can see that it takes these steps. And maybe we need to have citizen leadership meetings, or citizen academy, so that they can learn certain things that need to be learned, so that they can also understand.
Wow. Wow. You absolutely you absolutely said a mouthful right there. Um, I was in my research. I was looking at some of the panels that some of the other candidates from some of the other districts were doing, and there was a common thread through all of it. And it was basically talking about the county infrastructure as it pertains to, I guess business. Having business flow through Putnam County and the other surrounding counties. Do you feel that there's an issue with the lack of traffic, literally and figuratively, coming through the county to kind of like provoke new businesses to come? In other words, like, is there? Do you feel like enough is being done to encourage businesses to come and do business in our counties?
I've That's something that I am still gathering information to understand, because I'm not as familiar to understand how the operation of different businesses coming through here.
Mhm.
I feel that it's it's slow, but at the same time, I think we need to have accommodations for housing so that those
Yeah.
businesses can see that, we can accommodate people to live here as well as work here, because housing is definitely an issue here in Putnam County.
Mhm.
And if people can't find housing, then they won't be able to work here.
Right. So it all kind of, so in other words, it all kind of works together.
Hmm.
I got you. I got
Hmm.
you. I was talking to a community leader, not that long ago, and person was, because I don't want to say the person's name. The person was saying that when they approach, state organizations to, like, for instance, maybe try to get a highway, to come through, you know, that would inspire more business, but the state was not really too keen on it because of not enough business is going on in that area. But it's kind of a catch-22 because
Hmm.
you want the highway to get more business, but you don't have enough business to get the highway, which will
Right,
inspire more business. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So it's kind of
right.
like kind of like an entangled
Yeah, yeah.
situation.
It's more so like a pyramid, we
Right.
have to be able to accommodate the people. And of course, I do see, different highways expanding,
Mhm.
down 17, down I believe it's 100. I do see that going on, but at the same time, we need to be sure that we can accommodate the individuals, and then, have a foundation for it to grow into other businesses coming here, because those businesses have to trust that we're going to be able to help their business flourish. They don't
Right.
want to bring their business here and it's not going to, um, grow or prosper.
Mhm.
So we,
Absolutely.
a county, have to show that we have the growth and the sustainability in order to help them help their company grow.
What do you think? Let's go into let's talk to Latoya Robinson, the citizen, for a second. What 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 do you, as a being a citizen, what do you think is attractive, about the area that would, what would you say if you had potential business owners watching this interview right now? What would you say to them to make them want to come and check out the area? What do you feel that the county offers to potential businesses and potential commerce?
Well, I think we have to rely on our natural resources at this moment. We definitely have the St. Johns River, the riverfront here in Palaca. We have the many lakes, around the county. We also have the bike trails. There's a lot that can be done with the state of Florida with the bike trails, because, of course, with different housing communities, they want to be able to, walk their dogs, or, have a bike trail, something that's
Mhm.
safe. So I think if we can do that and promote that, it will definitely help begin to bring the businesses here. And from there, by using our natural resources, what we already have, we can grow from there. It just has to take local government collaborating, combining resources, because Interlaken, Palaca, Crescent City, all of us are Putnam County. And it's different levels of government in Putnam County. And if we all can collaborate together and plan for intelligent growth with the people who come here, as well as with the businesses that we want to attract, I think we'll get to where we want to go. It just takes thoughtful planning.
Awesome. Awesome. So in this whole process, from the time that you threw your hat in the ring until now, if you had to name one thing what would be the biggest thing that you've learned about yourself throughout this whole process that maybe you didn't know
Ooh.
about yourself prior to? If you had to name one thing, what would it be?
Oh goodness, Mike. One thing that I've learned. Oh, that's kind of hard. I didn't realize that would be as hard. I guess being patient, patience.
Mhm.
I don't think I'm a patient person. Many people might think so, but I'm not patient. I think with certain things, my tolerance level is very low. And
Okay.
with all of the information, being that I'm not as knowledgeable about county operations, people come at me with a lot of information and it's definitely overwhelming. And with me having the patience to woosah and say, okay, I'm in it. Let me familiarize myself with all of this as much as I can so that I can, be able to know what I'm doing, know how to do what I need to do to help
Right.
people. It's just the my level of patience has definitely increased to understand the information of county operations.
Tell so tell so tell me this. What role, describe the role that your family has played in this whole process. What role have they played in this whole political process?
They have
When you came to them and was like, "Hey, I'm about to run for this office," what did they say? Are you crazy? Or what happened? What happened?
absolutely, they actually didn't think that I was crazy. They was like, go for it, let's do it. They were so encouraging, and I was like, oh wait, okay, let me step back, let me consult with God, let me meditate for a minute. But they have been so supportive. My mom went from my mom to my momager.
Okay.
So um
Okay.
and anything that I need, she's right there. She I call her the campaign MVP because she will get out there and ask for donations. Anything that I need, she's there. My kids, my husband, my sisters, all of my family, they, my aunts, my uncles, they've been right there and very supportive.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mr. Tommy
Yeah.
Robinson.
Yeah, shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
Tommy.
shout out to him. That's my bro.
Yeah.
Um, being in a I don't want to call it industry, but being in a, I guess, an industry, for lack of better words, um, there has the potential to be some mudslinging, some, you know, that type of thing. Have you encountered that? And if you have, how have you been able to kind of like defend yourself or sidestep it, or however, you know what I'm saying? How have you been able to like manage that?
Surprisingly so, I have not encountered any mudslinging.
Okay.
I did notice it with my opponent in the primary election. And I was like, whoa, and I was like, okay, I need to brace myself, depending on who win or won from the primary election.
Mhm.
But my opponent, she's pretty much laid back. I don't think that she's even interested in trying to have any negativity come my way, and me the same as towards her. um so I haven't experienced that when I go out and canvass the community. I've had positive conversations. Yes, there have been a few people who say okay, thank you, and just close the door, but very minimum. So it's been positive, surprisingly. Nothing but positive energy, and I can definitely say that I've had a great experience as a candidate here in Putnam County.
That is awesome. I mean, and overall, what makes Latoya Robinson the best choice for this office? Why should I vote for why should I vote for Latoya Robinson?
Well, you should vote for Latoya Robinson because Latoya Robinson is a person of integrity. I don't have an issue addressing any type of adversity. I don't have an issue asking the hard questions. I don't have an issue listening or advocating. I feel that right is right and fair is fair, and everyone deserves, a fair opportunity to have a better life, a fair opportunity to strengthen their families. And with that, it comes with having the resources in your community in order to do that. And my whole career has been nothing but advocacy, advocating for families, advocating for children. And now as a mental health counselor, encouraging the children, the at-risk kids to make better choices. So that's who I am, and that's what I'm passionate about. And I can have the same determination and passion for all the citizens in Putnam County. It's not about, your political affiliation. It doesn't have anything to do with Democrat, Republican, NPA, Independent, any of that, because we all live here in Putnam County. We all want to see Putnam County grow. And as I said, I want to build bridges for a better Putnam. And that's what I'm going to do as a commissioner.
Wow. You took the words out of my mouth.
Why am I always doing that, Mike?
So tell me this, okay? So what can, besides voting, which is the obvious thing, what can the people do to have an impact on their, the things that are being discussed and legislated within their community? Like what can the people do other than voting, which is, like I said, the obvious thing?
Yeah, as I think they just need to be more involved. I think they need to hold the officials who are currently in the seat accountable. I think they need to go and push the issues that they want to see taken care of or addressed.
How so?
Going to the meetings, sending emails, being that pushy citizen and saying, hey, I'm here. You're not going to just get away with this, because and from everything that I'm seeing, or I'm not going to say everything, most of the stuff that I'm seeing, it seems as if, it's a lot of stuff that's being brushed up under the rug. It's a lot of heads that's being turned. And I feel that the community see that, but they don't want to, I guess, push any buttons to make anyone mad, I guess. I don't know. But I think that just going to the meetings, sending emails, doing multiple contacts to the commissioner in their district, and just holding them accountable for what they say. If they see something that shouldn't be done, stand up. We have right now the biosolids issue in South Putnam, where they're trying to have proper, dump human sewage on property. And it has its benefits, but not just the benefits. There are consequences that definitely outweigh those benefits. And, you have the toxins that go into the waterways. You have the pollution that comes, and it can create cancer and other, ailments to the body. So to me, that alone is like, we need to stand up and say, no, that's not going to happen here in Putnam County, because there are long-term effects to that, so we need to be able to stand up and rise and protect our county, protect our community, so that we can continue to prosper.
That's awesome. So tell me this, does it, and this is going to sound like a funny question, but don't take it how I'm asking it. You probably understand what I mean, though. My question to you is, how important is it that you're Black as a candidate? Does it matter that you're a woman of color? Does it mean anything to you in terms of in this race? I'm saying, like, is that a challenge? Have you found that to be a challenge in and of itself, because you're a woman and you're a woman of color. So are those two things something that you've had to kind of like navigate throughout in this process?
No. Well, again, I look at that as an advantage.
Okay.
As a Black woman, I bring diversity to the commission. The
Okay.
commission right now sits 5 white men.
Gotcha.
That is not how the population of Putnam County is. So it's not a good representation of Putnam County. So
Hmm.
therefore, a female. I am a person of color. So and I am a younger than the current individuals there. So that in many aspects, it's diverse. I want, as a Black female as well, I want the younger generations to see that, oh, there's a person who looks like me. If she did it, I can do it too.
Right.
I want people to see me as a citizen, as a mediocre citizen who is not a politician, who does not know as much as she needs to know to begin with about county operations, but willing to learn, to stand up and take this path. So, a person of color of many aspects, I want it to be seen. I want it to be seen in many aspects. The younger generation seeing that this is something that they can do, to not be fearful because you lack knowledge, but be determined to get the knowledge and be familiar with the knowledge. Being able to be diverse, age, ethnicity, and gender on the commission.
Wow. Listen, that was powerful what you said, because that's one of the things I also had in mind, is that I think that not just in Florida, not just in the South, but everywhere. I think that youth, particularly minority youth, we don't give them enough alternatives. Like we don't give them enough examples, in other words,
Mm-hmm.
of someone that can do something great. Like you were just saying, to your point, you were talking about, you know, teaching, showing the younger generation that they can make a difference, or they can make an impact,
Yeah.
even if they may not be well versed in a certain area. They can work and get to that point,
Mm-hmm.
and you are that example.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that. That's a very, very powerful point. And I think that sometimes as adults, as older generation, I think sometimes we don't pay enough attention to that. We don't place enough emphasis on the fact that the reason why a lot of the youth that we see go the other way is because they don't
Mm-hmm.
see enough. They don't see
Right.
another way. You get what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
so when you say that, that really strikes a chord. And that's very important. And not to talk you to death, but I think that, and I hope that, you see how important you are in this process, not
Mm-hmm.
just as not just as a candidate, but again, you are also a positive example of what you can be, that you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to go other routes. You don't have to, you know, go to the quote unquote fast money or
Right.
whatever. These are things that you can do and affect your community as well. So
Absolutely.
it's
I
very important.
I want to be the living example of be the change you want to see.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm sorry, but that, like I said, that really strikes a chord with me. Because we just don't see as they don't we don't see as many examples. They don't, and when I say they, I mean like the media and
Hmm.
things like that. They don't show these type of examples.
Right.
We'll find out later on. Oh, that city has a black mayor, or
Hmm.
that city has a black, alderman or
Hmm.
whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But
Yeah, we definitely have to make it happen. We have to
absolutely,
establish the history that we want to
absolutely,
for the future generations to see. So it's up to us currently, the adults now, for the younger generations to have something to look forward to, or have someone or something to look up to.
Absolutely. Particularly in a town like Palaca, where you have that, that small town feel. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But the social media will tell you that you got to be sped up. Everything has to
Hmm.
be sped up. Everything has to be, look and be a certain way. And so, you got people that will act according to what they see, trying to
Hmm.
mimic what they see. But,
Yeah. I
you know,
mean, you're absolutely right because I was talking to my son and my goddaughter, and they gave me something to think about because they said that, being that TikTok or the social media videos are like 30 seconds or less. So if you don't capture a child or teenager, a young adult's attention within the first 30 seconds, you've lost them. So you
absolutely.
have to make sure that you do it quick because, like you say, social media gives set that precedent for their minds to to process. So we have to be on point from jump to make sure that we can relate to the younger generation. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
To your point about, okay, let's talk about the young voters. Do you how do you relate to them? Have you Do you have a plan to relate to them specifically, or are you just kind of like you have a set plan and you just have a set plan? You get what I'm saying?
I understand. I don't have a plan. However, when I'm out in the community and I do come across young people, I've had conversations with them and asked them, do they vote? Are you a registered voter? For the ones that say no, well, why not? And then they talk about, they don't see change or they don't see a purpose. So that gives me the opportunity to help them process, well, what it is that you're looking for. Let's do that. What it is that you're looking for in our community, and I help them to understand what's available. And one young lady said, well, we need a water park. I said, okay, if we do have a water park, who's going to work there, who's going to mandate it, so things like that need to have a plan. It's not just bring a water park here, but I think that the younger generation, they don't process it like that. They just want to see it happen. They don't
Right,
understand the process of making it happen.
right,
um
right.
I let them know that on the local level, this is where you could possibly see change. But in
Mhm.
order to do that, you have to change the people who are in the positions to make the change. So if you don't go vote, then it's easier for other people who don't have like interests or like minded as you are as far as seeing what the needs are or even feel the interest to advocate for you on that level, then you're going to keep getting the same results. So, I definitely take advantage of that. As far as reaching out to the young voters, um, I just encourage them one on one to go vote. I want to be able to, let's test you've tested your theory by not voting. So let's test my theory by voting. So
Right,
let's go
right,
vote, test
right,
my theory, let me be
right,
in the seat, and then let's see how things work at that point.
right,
Um, I've tried to engage them um with certain questions, and I think just helping them to process what they want to see versus what's actually going on, I think has been a great help because some of them say, well, okay, I didn't look at it that way. Well,
right.
okay, well, I'm glad that I got you to, look at it from a different perspective.
Wow. So in your whole candidacy, I mean, I'm sure that you've seen things that you never expected to see and experience things that you probably never expected to experience. And as a result of that, I'm sure that it's, you know, and we talked about it earlier. It has brought things out of you that maybe you didn't realize, were there. prior to. Um, what would you say, personally, what would you say your biggest misconception was about the whole process? Like, was there something that you went into it thinking that it was one way, but then once you got in, you realized it was another. So what was the
Yeah.
biggest misconception that you had?
Oh my goodness, I definitely had a misconception because at many times I'm like, oh my goodness, what have I got myself into? And I said it before, it's just the wealth of knowledge of the county operations, knowing what this component does, knowing what this component does, knowing that there's an advisory board for everything. Public works, zoning, animal control, just like all that wealth of information. If I had known that, I probably would have maybe familiarized myself more because I definitely felt overwhelmed at the time. But at the same time, it's like, well, if if it was easy, then it wouldn't be anything to work for. So,
Right,
I got in it and I'm like, well, if this is what it takes, then this is what it takes. And that's why I say, I had to increase my patience level and just buckle down and do what I had to do because I'm in the paint and I'm ready to paint my picture.
wow. So your husband, he works in law enforcement.
Hmm.
Um, what are those conversations like? Now that you are, you know, in this political race, has the conversations changed between the two of you when it comes, with the professional conversations? Like, has that been different?
It hasn't changed, but sometimes I'll tell him. We just, as a matter of fact, had this conversation this evening before the podcast. He
Mhm.
went on a call, and the people didn't hear what they wanted to hear, and I was like, "Oh Lord, I hope they don't associate you with me before they go vote."
Right,
So I'm like, you got to keep it low key. Don't be making people mad out there because
right,
they need to be partial, impartial when they're voting.
right.
But the conversations as far as on a professional level, not really. I don't think so. He and I both are like, just wow factor when it comes to certain things as far as the operations of the county or in my research finding out certain things. I'm like, dang, they let this happen but no one did anything about it. We're like, dang, wow.
Right.
So on that level, yeah, but nothing as far as I just need him to just take it easy until November 8th.
Wow. Okay, so we were speaking about misconceptions. So, what would you say is the biggest misconception
Oh yeah.
that people have had about you since you started this?
um I'm not sure, but I'll say this. I don't think that people being that they think that I'm quiet, when they do hear me talk, I think that gives them a different perception of me.
Mm,
Because I mean, I talk when I have to,
right.
so I guess many people never see that. So that I would say that's the misconception that others have of me. Um, but were you asking my misconception of throughout my candidacy?
Well, no, I'm just saying. Well, in your candidacy, personally,
Okay.
has anybody, do you feel like there's a misconception out there about you that maybe
Well,
they think,
let
you're
me,
too quiet,
yeah.
and,
Let
whatever.
me say this too, because and I mean I'll just say it. I don't know if it would be for me to bring it up, but I will say this. I think that people probably feel that since my son is the one who, I'm not going to say he's one of the first, but the last two protest for the removal of the Confederate monument in front of the courthouse. I think that people feel that that's my only reason for running for county commissioner. And I would say that that played a part
Hmm.
in me wanting to run for county commissioner, because it gave me the opportunity to have more insight on county or county government. So, I think that they feel that that's my only reason, but it's not. I do want to see Putnam County grow. I do want to build bridges for a better Putnam. And the only way for me to do that is to be a part of the team that make the decisions. Like
Right,
they say, I want to sit at the table.
right, right. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, yeah, that's awesome that your son stood up for what he believed in,
Hmm.
in a very, very important, on a very, very important issue. I
Hmm.
mean, we grow up looking at certain things and we take for granted, certain things, and we don't take the time out. We haven't taken the time out to learn the history of certain things, and so we accept a lot of things that we probably should never have accepted. You know what I mean? And so that's awesome.
Yeah, and
That is really
I
awesome.
definitely raised him to, stand up for what he's passionate about. And, that's what he's doing. That's what he did. That's his path. And it gave me the opportunity to open my eyes wider, on a different scope,
Mhm.
as far as local government here in Putnam County.
Awesome. So, Latoya Robinson, we are on Let's Take a Walk, and I have Miss Latoya Robinson, who is a candidate for County Commissioner in District 2, Putnam County, Florida. It's just so much. Like, I don't even know, what I'm saying? I'm trying to streamline, my questions or whatever, but it's just so much that you just don't know. But that I just don't know, rather.
Mhm.
What role does your faith play
Oh
in your
man,
whole candidacy?
my faith definitely plays a significant role in my candidacy. Being that I was raised with Christian morals and values, accepted Christ, um, it it's my moral compass for what's wrong and what's right. Um, Being able to not criticize people for what they believe in, being able to listen, being able to be patient and not be so quick to be upset or, be angry. So, and like I said before, me thinking about this becoming a reality, I had to pray and meditate. And once I did that, you know, God revealed to me that certain things happened 7 years ago in order for this to happen.
Wow.
And
Wow.
when he gave me that revelation, I was like, whoa, oh, okay.
Wow.
So at that moment, I was, as a matter of fact, I was on vacation when I had that revelation. And I was
Vacation. What is that? I don't even
right,
know
yeah,
that word.
you're right. But I will be taking one after November 8th. um, but it at that moment, when I had that revelation, I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, you got to give me guidance, because I know nothing about local government, county government, operations of Putnam County. So, and I can say that even right now, nobody but God, is giving me the guidance, guiding my words, guiding my knowledge as far
Hmm.
as me being able to speak for my candidacy.
Right.
I've seen my growth, and it's constructed by God, my
Hmm.
path. And if I didn't step out on faith, I would never know what's in store for me. So I stepped out on faith. I, ask God daily, constantly, for his guidance, for the tools that I need to take me through. So it plays a significant role.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Who would you say is your biggest influence right now?
Whew. My biggest influence
Hmm.
for my candidacy.
Or just in general, who is your biggest influence? Whoever, however you want to frame it.
I'm gonna I'll just speak as far as my candidacy. My
Hmm.
biggest influence would be Terrell.
Okay.
He
Shout out
would
to
be,
Terrell Hill.
yeah. Shout
Shout
out to
out to
Mayor
him.
Terrell Hill. He's definitely, a big influence, as far as him being able to do what he's doing. He, in my opinion, I think he's getting it from, different angles, even from, some of the Black community, but he's still able to, keep his eyes focused on what he needs to do. And so he's a great influence, a great person to see in a political position. He loves Palaca, the city of Palaca. I can tell he loves it and cares about it and wants to see the city of Palaca grow. And I look at him and his growth, his whole tenure as mayor, and just yeah.
Oh, shout out to Terrell Hill. Um, okay, so what will people be surprised? Now we talked about misconceptions, but what will people be surprised to know about you?
I don't know. I don't
You have
know.
okay.
Maybe they'll be surprised to see that I will hold people accountable. I will stand up and won't back down. Maybe they'll be surprised with that. Even with me supporting my son, a lot of people would tell me, "Oh, I didn't know you had that in you." I'm like, "Well, if they take me to that level, then I will show it." But
Right.
sometimes sometimes you it's a certain things for certain situations. And I
Hmm.
think, when it's time to rise to the level of me standing firm on a situation, they'll probably be surprised of that, I think. But I don't know what else they would be surprised about. Let's ask the audience. I don't know. Can we ask them to chime in? As far as them being able to witness what I'm doing in my candidacy, has there been anything that they've been surprised of me?
No, we're gonna see in a second. But while people are thinking, I'm gonna ask you a question that I ask all my guests. So I'm gonna ask you, once I ask it, just take a moment. Um, oh, okay. Mr. William McCormick says that you're a hard worker.
Thank
So
you, William.
I guess he's surprised that you're a hard worker. You must have been a slacker before.
No, that is not what he means.
Nah, I know, I'm playing. But once I ask this question, just take a moment, think about it, and give me the best answer that you can, most honest and transparent answer that you can give me. Okay.
Okay.
Here's the question: what would have to happen in your life if it hasn't happened already for you to consider your life a success? What does success look like for you specifically?
Success, what does success looks like to me? Um, being in a position to make positive change.
Mm,
um that's what success is to me. If I can talk to a youth and encourage them to make better choices, and me actually see them implementing those choices for positive outcomes, then that's success to me. If I can, when I become county commissioner, and even if I can implement one resource here in Putnam County, that's success to me.
Mm,
So, that's yeah, that's what it is. I'll go with that.
okay. Okay. I I really appreciate, you taking the time out to sit down with me and talk to me about your candidacy and everything like that. I definitely, just doing this podcast, just in general, I learn so much every time I get in front of this camera. I learn something new. Just not just about whatever you're talking about. I learn about the person too, because I've always known you to be very like mild mannered and very like unassuming and very very quiet. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
never really experienced you as a like a rah rah type of person, but to see you in this light and to see you step up to the plate like this, I really respect that because there's so many people that are in your position, you know what I'm saying, that would never even dare, you know what I'm saying, to even put themselves out there. And I think one of the most powerful things that you said in this interview is the fact that there are things that you don't know.
Mhm.
That's the most powerful to me. That's one of the most powerful things that you could say in this interview because there's so many times that people will pretend to know and sound so crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And or just make something up on the fly and sound so ridiculous. But the fact that you're able to say on some issues, hey, I just gotta do my research. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how that works, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I can respect that because to me, that's that shows character. You know what I'm saying? That shows a high level of integrity. You know what I mean? And so, I really like again, I really respect that.
Thank you.
Um Going forward, do you have any events or anything coming up, or is it just hitting that campaign trail hard?
It's hitting the campaign trail hard. However, if anyone wants to host an event for me, just let me know. I am seeking volunteers to help out, engage voters. That's been very challenging getting people. Of course, I understand that people are very very busy with their own personal lives, but that's been the challenging thing as far as getting people, bodies to help, hit the ground running with me because with more you cover more ground. But I am seeking volunteers to help canvass and engage voters. And no events that I can think of. Let me hold on a minute. Well, the forums, those are events. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm missing something. It's just so much to, but Monday we have a forum in Bostwick. And then on Tuesday, the 11th, there's a forum here in Palaca at the Women's Club. And I believe that is it.
Okay.
And we're canvassing every day. So if we can get volunteers, they can let me know their availability, and we can go for it.
That is awesome. That is really awesome. And again, I truly respect, truly respect what you're doing,
Thank
because
you.
on so many levels, because like I said, you have so many different things to contend with, but yet you're still, doing what you're doing. And that's awesome.
Mhm. Thank you.
If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, to volunteer or to get maybe to get your stance on certain things or whatever the case may be, how can they get in touch with you?
There are several ways. They can email me at latoya4putnam@gmail.com. And that is LATOYA, the number 4PUTNAM @gmail.com. My website, the same, latoya4putnam .com. And my Facebook page, I believe it's Latoya Anderson Robinson, County Commissioner, District 2 on Facebook. I believe that's how it reads. So there are different ways to contact me. Facebook actually has different links to sign up on the Google page to come and volunteer with the campaign. And as always, a week before November 8th, I'm also taking financial contributions.
Okay. So, that's I'm pretty much done. Is there anything else you just want to share? Any last words you want to share with the public before we go off?
Well, I guess to sum up everything as far as me, I want people to just see me as a regular individual trying to make a path for change, to build bridges here in Putnam County. I'm no different than Susie Joe on the street. So this year is not going to change me. Like I said, I'm just want to have a seat for making decisions on the growth of Putnam County. And I hope that people can see my passion for this, me elevating from one advocacy level to another. But I think that's pretty much it. Early voting begins October 24th through November 5th.
Mhm.
Election day is November 8th. Deadline to register to vote is October 11th. I'm encouraging everyone to please, please, please look at your voter registration card. Make sure you're familiar with your precinct. Also, make sure you look at your sample ballot that is mailed to you to make sure that you have the candidates that you are eligible to vote for. And if you don't, go to the supervisor of elections office and ask why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I wanna thank you again for coming on. Um, again, I can't reiterate enough how much I respect, what you're doing. But there's one thing that I wanna say to you about what you just said.
Okay.
You said that you're telling the people that this is not going to change you. But I'm telling you this. If this does not change you, and this is God talking, this is not me talking. If this does not change you, then you don't need to be running.
Okay. And I received that. I received that because in that sense, it's going to change me as far as growing with the county, growing with the
Right,
community, being
right,
able to look at it in a different lens. So
right.
therefore, and again, changing that aspect, I'm not the same person when I filed
Absolutely.
in 2021 because I've grown from that point. So yes, there definitely growth, change in growth, change in maturity, change in processing, how things work. So definitely change in that aspect. So let me go back as far as the change, and that aspect of me changing. I'm not going to be this person who takes my position and abuse it. I'm not.
Right.
I'm going to have the same passion as I did when I filed for candidacy to run to make changes for Putnam County, and that passion is going to continue to grow and not change. I'm not going to be this person in authority or in a position and have my nose all snooted up and act like I can't say hello. So but definitely, and I received that, Mike, and I appreciate you giving me that opportunity to reflect on that.
Absolutely. And you absolutely have an open forum anytime that you want. It's an open invitation. If there's something that you need to put out, if there's anything that you need to promote, anything that you just want to say to the public, just hit me up. Done deal. And again, just to reiterate, you know, what you're doing is not only dope, it is super important to, to not even to just people that are in your in your general community, but anybody who's a witness to it is important to them. And so,
Mhm.
what I was saying earlier about it changing you, this is the opportunity for you to strengthen your impact and your understanding of what government is, and how to this is just another, you've been serving this whole time.
Mhm.
This is just another level of service.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just going to make you a more powerful servant, if that
Servant.
makes if that
It def
makes
it
sense.
it definitely does make sense.
So,
I I'm that servant. I'll
yeah,
be that servant, to be guided on what I need to do.
absolutely.
And it was one thing that you said as far as making the impact and people seeing that, because it's a lot of people that tell me, like, they'll be like, I'll tell them that I'm a candidate, and be like, what? Like they're surprised, and I'm like, yeah, I'm running for candidate for county commissioner. Oh, you're brave. Oh,
Hmm.
and it's like, we can't continue to allow our fears to stand in the way.
Absolutely.
So if I continue to be fearful to stand up and make a change as a Black woman, then like I said, I'll never know the outcome. But
Right.
I'm that person. I'll be that brave person if that's what it takes for people to see, and for more people to come with me, behind me. Then I'm that person. Gotta be, because God gave me it's laying out the foundation. So
Absolutely. Well, again, Miss Latoya, I thank you for coming on and being so transparent and so honest and truthful. Um, I live in Virginia. I wish I lived there. I would definitely cast my vote for you. but
right,
um,
right.
but I encourage anybody, everybody, who's able to affect change in that community to look at this interview and see the type of person that you know Latoya is, and the type of public service she would actually be, um, and make the decision based off of your heart and what you feel is right. Um,
What?
but again, I thank you for coming on. I know you're super busy. You could have been doing a zillion other things. But I appreciate you taking the time. And again, you have, an open invitation whenever you feel like you need to come on, just hit me up. Done deal. It's a wrap. I got you.
Thank you so much,
Um,
Mike. I appreciate the opportunity for me to, show the transparency, to my authentic self. Many people are not, well, I'm not going to say many people, I'll say I'm not able to physically go. Thank you, William. I'm not physically able to go to every resident's house in Putnam County. However, you've given me the one of the many tools that I do have, and that's to share this, so that they can see, me. So I
absolutely.
appreciate that. I thank you for the opportunity. And when you say that I'm a busy person, I've told everybody, don't ask me anything about Thanksgiving, Christmas, or anything until after November 8th. So
Right.
this
Right.
campaign is first priority.
Right.
So so this was one of the ones that was on the schedule for me to do. So I'm at the right place at the right time and where I need to be. So I
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. I thank you again, and you have an awesome night and an awesome weekend, and I wish you much blessings. I would wish you luck, but I don't believe in luck.
Right.
I wish you much good fortune, in the
Thank you.
upcoming elections.
Thank you.
Um, and everything that you have going on. I pray much blessings in it.
Thank you.
Again, and thanks again.
All right. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
No problem at
All
all.
right. All right.
There you have it, y'all. Another awesome interview with another awesome guest. We had Miss Latoya Robinson on. She is again a candidate for County Commissioner of District 2 in Putnam County, Florida, better known as Palatka, Florida. Um, do your research, man. Check her out. Um, see what she's about. And I truly believe that even if you're not an expert, if you are willing and if you are coachable and teachable, you can do anything. You can accomplish anything. You know, even biblically speaking, it says that the Bible says that when we are weak, at our weakest point is when God's strength is made perfect. So when we're at our most vulnerable point, when we allow ourselves to be as vulnerable at our vulnerable point, that's when God is able to do his best work. And I'm paraphrasing. So being able to admit that don't have you don't have it all figured out, but your love and your care for the situation allows you is compelling you to be involved. That, for me, that speaks volumes. So I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but I will say that speaks volumes for me. Like that means a lot to me. Other than that, man, as usual, I encourage you guys to step out on your dreams, step out on your vision, step out on the plans that you have, and allow, God to do his work, or the universe, whatever you choose to believe in. I'm not going, who or whatever you believe in, walk in your truth, walk in your, the vision that you dream about, that you think about at night, that you think about during the day. You know what I'm saying? The thing that you spend your most time doing. You know what I'm saying? You step out on it. If you got a business, if you want to run for office, if you want to, whatever, go to get a degree, write a book, do a movie, write a movie script, wherever that is, man, you have the opportunity, especially now in the age that we have all these different apps and different technologies that puts us in a position where it's literally at our fingertips to do pretty much anything. I've seen movies that were recorded using just the iPhone. Really? Like movies, like real movies. So, with that being said, I encourage you all to step out, do what you do. And let God do the rest, man. With that being said, man, I'm signing off, and I hope you guys have a good rest of the weekend, a good rest of the evening. Don't hurt nobody. Be safe. Let's take a walk.